Alright guys, hey, thanks for joining me tonight. I really hope you enjoyed tonight's episode. We're going to tour the wife's flower garden. We're going to get the first bales made on the new Lumberg farm. We're going to talk about my trip to North Dakota. And then, sadly enough, we're going to say goodbye to Juggernaut. And we get the heifers out on pasture. Juggernaut had some bad feet or bad legs. Something was going on, I think some foot rot. And it was time for him to go anyhow, but he is so beautiful. I wanted to keep him just so he could grow old, but it wasn't in his best interest. And so, yeah, if you are a vegan or a SJW type snowflake, I would recommend this video isn't for you at the end. Alright guys, hey, thanks for joining me. John Stevens, Maple Grove Farm. The wife's garden. We'll take a quick tour. Despite the drought, she's managing to kind of keep it somewhat green. She raises a lot of stuff from seed stock, and she enjoys it. The rose was my grandma's rose, so we got that rose 15-ish years ago. We had a picture. I don't know if it was 2006 or 7, somewhere in there, 8 or 9. It was just massive on this side. Up and over the roof, you can see the shingle where it lifted up there. And just massive. And it was all bloomed out with these huge flowers. And just gorgeous some years. And then she trimmed it way back, and now it's slowly coming back. But we hauled in all the field stones, and here the hill we built, it was two 400 bushel manure spreaders of dirt, and then we got about an easy 10 or 12 ton of rock there that we just hauled in by hand, and I just backed up with the manure spreader and ran a pile out and moved over and ran a pile out, and then we just started terracing it from the top down. She's going to tear it up next year. The terrace will stay, but she's going to tear all the hossas and the grasses out of there and get more color into it. But she's got all this stuff. A lot of this stuff is volunteer, because she'll collect seeds, and then she just kind of throws the seeds out there. She's super happy with these things. I don't know, they're kind of pretty. But she's always got little stuff hidden around in there. Little succulents around and stuff like that. And that rock, we brought that rock home on the back of the Cadillac. And I've seen what a couple pallets of seed will squat the truck, and that rock was competitive to that. And so what we did is we backed the truck up, because none of this was here yet. We just took and removed the lawn, and we knew where we wanted the rock to land. So we backed the truck up, and I took the ATV and the winch, and I had to put a couple blocks in the winch to get enough leverage to help pull. And with the ATV on the ramps, got the rock back, and then we took, what did we do? Oh yeah, we got it right to the edge. And then we had some boards here, so we put some boards against the back of the truck, so if it hit the ground and rolled forward, it wouldn't hit the back of the truck, you know, the hitch area or anything like that. And we gave it one last heave, whoop, and it fell, thump, and just thump right there. And because the 4430 can lift quite a bit, and it didn't want to lift that rock very well. So then we tied a ratchet strap to the truck and wound it around the rock, and I drove, and it spun the rock until it was at a good orientation. And my neighbor Jeff, he's an old highwayman himself, and so he had a lot of enjoyment kind of helping and watching. And yeah, the bees, there's always so many bees. We brought these maples in a couple years ago. We should have done it 20 years ago, because then we'd have a big triangle thing here. But we got an old, from the old row crop cultivators, you got your coulter for side hilling. And we got one of them, like a pizza cutter. And she'll lay a hose out or wherever for the new boundary, because it's always growing. The boundary's always growing. And we just take the pizza cutter and cut the grass, and then or we rent the sod cutter. Are you going to be on camera tonight? Do you need to run and hide?
All I'm gonna say is that my hibiscus.
So we had some, what would you say, interesting neighbors on the back side. Now it's my 6th grade science teacher. She lives back there. Pretty crappy people were back there, so we just took and popped this fence up. We didn't even try to do a good job on the fence. It was literally, how fast can we put the fence up? And then we'll just hide it with the ivy. And she uses the old shoe bags, boop, to put little stuff in. And yeah, a lot more. The badminton garden, if you ever wondered where badmintons come from, she grows them here and sells them. So that's the flower garden tour. And then the garden got the peas that she's been eating all summer, sweet corn, potatoes, peppers, tomatoes, broccoli, dill, asparagus, so a couple pumpkins in there. She had strawberry. She still does have strawberries, cauliflower, broccoli, I don't know, cabbage, carrots. Apparently, I'm just gonna give her the camera and she can just take over for this tour. So thanks for using John's tour. And green beans. She got a bunch of bags of green beans already froze. Blueberries in the back there. And so yeah, she works her little butt off for the garden here, and then takes care of the cows. Yeah, whatever. Still a nice piece of property, and be a nice addition. I've dreamed about this piece my whole life down here, driving in our little 20 acre when I was a little kid, and Donnie and Dave were farming the 60 acre of ours. They owned it at the time. When they were farming it and I was in kindergarten, I'd wait on the road. I'd wait on the road for my turn because they had one of the first 8630s in the area, and John Deere 4-wheel drives. And I thought, oh boy, and I'd sit down on that little box left of the seat, and man, oh man, look, I got a something going on. The windrow was too wide. Windrow was a little too wide, so it snagged my corners. We'll move over a little bit there. Make a couple efforts at cleaning that up. Pull it in, girl. Pull it in. Whoa, 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 whoa. I could probably lift the depth stop for the pickup dropping and raise it up just a little bit, but it's working just fine. Beep. Another bale. Funny, you get into this thick stuff And wherever it's brown, the cut is brown, that's where that big canary and whatever grass that is. I got a 4-inch warning, so at 56 inches it warns me. No, I'd make these 6-foot since they're for myself, but she wants to do it on shares, and that's fine. But as soon as the 4-inch warning goes off, you're almost slowing down, because in a matter of a moment, the full bale warning is going to be going off. Kind of nice compared to my other field that got 8 bales off of 40 acres. This is a nice change. If it was smoother in there, I'd be in there, trust me. I am so thankful that we got this field. This is gonna for sure get us plenty of feed to get through the winter, and if cattle become cheap, we might be able to pick up 2 or 3 cows and have enough feed for an extra 2 or 3 cows. So yeah, I really hope this works out. Another baler from Midwest Alice right there. It's a lot of bales. We're at 72 bales already for the field. $72 bales, and we still got quite a ways. We got this and then another 10 acre. Oh yeah, we'll be well over a. Well, we do 2 bales an acre, so we should end up close to 120 some bales. That'd be pretty nice. I'm at 109 bales for the field so far, and it's getting a little into the evening, and so I'm gonna make my way back to the farm and then clean up a few things in the yard from my mess this morning, get that trailer parked, and then make my way home and have supper with the wife. I have to say, over these rough fields where you get the, you know how lowland gets them mounds of grass root, you know, and just bounce, bounce, bounce. I'm going 3 miles an hour to try and make it smooth. That torsion axle on that baler has been a lifesaver for these fields, because when you watch the baler go across the field, you can actually see it working. And in the cab here, when you hit some of that stuff, it takes a lot of jar out of pulling the baler, and it's probably my most favorite feature of the baler itself. As silly as that sounds. He just sits there. Yeah, no, he's got that big red head. That's a small turkey vulture, or a big one, I don't know. We'll see when he flies. They're a big bird. Got the ugly red head on them. He's probably, what on tarnations is going on here? Oh yeah, he's a big bird. There's no joke. He's sitting up on that tree there. There's two of them up there. There's two of them. I bet they've been the ones digging holes in the bales, picking up mice and snakes and all that small game. They're probably just having a smorgasbord out here. Well, we got her done. Bale after bale after bale. We ended up with 150 on the money. So that's pretty cool. I am going to ask her, beg and plead to her, if she wants to keep that pasture, that's fine. But if I can at least plow this little chunk up, because that would help with the drainage. Because I was talking to Dad, I told him what I found for ditches. And he's like, yep, that makes sense. It should come out of our lower corner, through here, and then along this fence line. I think starting at the corner, or starting back here, is another ditch that runs out then along the tree line to the county road. And so she'd at least let me plow this field up. She got one dead furrow right here that needs to be redone, and then over there a dead furrow that needs to be done, and cut the wire so you can back the tail of the plow into there, or drive past, you know, and drag the tail of the plow into that ditch. And so yeah, this piece is rough. Oh my Lanta, that's rough. But 150 bales, that is fantastic. Oh my gosh, I am super excited about that. Super excited. And it is some gorgeous feed. So my trip to North Dakota, I loved going to North Dakota. They asked if I'd speak at the research center, and absolutely, you know, here's my list of demands. In the green room, the furniture has to be facing east-west, and the speaking room, the conference room has to be this temperature with this % of light, bowl of M&Ms with all the W's removed, and I can only eat the green ones. You know, your typical normal stuff that you request for you to speak. 25 cases or 25 bottles of Mountain Dew on ice, and so absolutely I'll go out there. And I went out there, and Wednesday I got to be the student, and I got to go down to the university and see their research, where a couple of them that stuck out was their hemp research plots, and then they were dabbling with corn and 60-inch corn and corn and cover crops, and soybeans and winter rye kind of relay and companion cropping there, and so that was pretty cool to see. And they had a few lupins. I think I got a picture of some of the lupins, and so it was cool to see that. And then we got to go back to the research center and then listen to all the agency people give the presentations of what's going on in their area, projects that they're working on and stuff. And then I got to give my couple-minute spiel, and then I fled out of there and raced down the interstate to farming at 4G, and he videotaped me right at the end, and I feel bad. I was, you know, it was already 5 or 5:30 when I was leaving his place, and I had an easy 6.5 hour drive. I think it was 1:30. Yeah, it was 1:30 by the time I got home the next morning, and so I should have. We should have just set up the camera and had a fun little banter there. But we'll do another collaboration. But got to meet him and his folks. Wonderful, wonderful, typical farmer people. Just great, great down to earth people. You know what I mean? And he gave me a tour of the building sites and stuff. And I always chuckle because when you meet these people in person, when you meet your YouTube friends in person, you kind of have a picture of what you think the yard looks like, and then when you go there in person, nothing looks the same, except you'll recognize when you pull into their yard, you'll recognize the one shed with the workshop, and that sticks out. You know, you're like, yep, I'm at the right place. And I always chuckle with Brad down at Larson Valley Farms, because he is in a valley. Like, it doesn't show up on camera, but I remember the first time I stopped down there, you pointed, that's got to be east, looking out his barn east, like, he's in a valley, like, holy cow. But it don't show up on camera, and so it's pretty neat to meet guys in person. And if Rick Bork just lived a little closer, you know. But no, it was a great time. I'm very appreciative of his time to show me around a little bit and kind of show me what's happening in their area and how they do things and stuff like that and stuff. And then I hit the road, and if I did my typical Minnesota goodbye where, you know, you say goodbye and then you talk for another half hour, and then you say goodbye and you talk for another half hour, and on the third one you're like, okay, now I gotta leave, and then another half hour later you leave. That's a typical Minnesota goodbye. But no, it was a great time. Rocky Run Angus was 15 minutes away, and I didn't make it to his place. TNR and there's a few other guys that somehow this winter we need to figure out where we can find a middle spot and meet up for a cup of coffee and go from there. But no, it was a great trip, good time, and I got to learn a lot. Hopefully I was able to pass a couple things in my presentation to spark some imagination to people, or just confirm that, hey, these basic simple things I'm doing after a couple failures can actually work. And so yeah, there we go, guys. Don't know yet.
Should we try and get
We'll see if she breathes. There we go. Now we got 3 generations. You got moms, daughters, and granddaughters out here. Our little herd is kind of growing. So we just went from 10 to 16 breeding cows out here. And then we've got 5 granddaughters in a week or two to go back to the other yard and let them grow up a little bit. And then they'll come back out here. And then we'll have 21. We're getting there. Getting there. Yeah, look how pretty that one is. That's a heifer too, so we might be able to keep some of that coloring. This little white face is a steer. But look at her, the black striping there. Yeah. Little fat bull right there with the black head. Whew, gorgeous calves. Gorgeous calves. Some of them got this color in their ears. Yeah. Carin don't spoil you at all, does she? She does a good job. She gets them calves combed. Yeah, they get that color. Oof, there he is again. You think you had a bad day? At least you didn't literally get crapped on. What are you doing back there? You're biting my butt. Yeah, eat my shirt. You are just too much today. You're just too funny. Yeah, look at that one. All right. That's enough of that. I got just a little extra footage because there's Tada Farms and some of the other guys said that their kids like to watch the cows. And so why not get a little extra footage? So yeah, there we go. All right, so we're doing a little taping for Tough Built Equipment. I'm a dealer for them. And they asked if we were going to be doing cattle soon, and I said yeah, and so we're just going to kind of do some mock cattle stuff today, because the wife and I are going to do the real stuff here in the next week or two. And but now all the cows went to the other end while I was building the system, so I got to drive up there and pull them back down. And yeah, we'll run some stuff through and make it look real and go from there. So yeah, kind of a hard working morning, throwing all them panels and setting everything up, but we needed it to be set up anyhow. So let's go get the cows. I'm being surrounded. They're gonna just walk around me. I'm trying to go slow. They're gonna get weird. You see some of the slackers coming up from the back. Goofies. Well, I don't think I'm leading them anymore. They're off. Those stupid animals. That's kind of funny. So I got Juggernaut in the corral. One cow stayed with. The rest of them I was easily able to just kind of push out. So now I can use this panel to separate her, and whatever side he ends up on, then either run him up this alley to the trailer or run him through the sweep tub to the trailer. And it's a win-win, hopefully. It's just a matter of time of how well he'll go through. I almost had him on the open pasture. We were at the other end. I poured a bunch of corn around on the ground to distract the cows. And then I led him with the bucket. I was able to get him because Carin spent a lot of time over the last month with him, making him friendly to us. So you could walk up and kind of scratch his head, but you still respect the animal that he is. You know, you do it with some light feet under you, ready to run kind of deal, or an escape plan. So I was able to hold that tin pan in front of him, and I got him right to the back of the trailer. He's eating off the back of the trailer, and I went around behind him to try and shoo him in. Well, at the same time, several of the cows come around and into the back of the trailer and started pushing each other. You know how that all goes, and he just backed up. And I'm like, oh, darn it, you know, so close. So close. But, yeah. So I'm going to see which way I can get him to go and then back the trailer up to the right spot and figure out how to get him into the trailer. I'm not going to lie. I was able to get him here into the tub. That went well, but I just took a long time. It probably took me 5 or 10 minutes of just baby stepping him down, because my fear is that when you take that last female away from him and now you're trying to sort them, that's when it gets dangerous. And Kelby had a big Semitol Angus like that same scenario. You could scratch him, you can pet him, you could feed him. The minute they sorted him away from the cows, he rolled Kelby into the dirt, and a couple weeks later Kelby was able to function back to life and eat solid food. And so it went well. So I'm just gonna let him sniff his way through, and hopefully he'll that chute's barely big enough for him. Luckily he lost a little bit of weight. There is a transition of light there, and I don't like that, but that's all right. Maybe he'll move at some point. Sooner or later he's gonna have to move, and so we'll just take our time and let him go, you know.